Imagine this. Scientists have spent decades trying to locate the you inside your brain, the essential part that makes you feel like a unified person, only to come up empty. There's no control center, no hidden operator behind your eyes. What they found instead is something far more mysterious, an open, coordinated field of activity with no central point, no little self in charge. That might sound unsettling, but it's actually the beginning of one of the most liberating realizations you can have. You've probably grown up with the idea that somewhere inside your head is a core, you, making all the choices, reacting to life, remembering the past, and planning the future. But modern neuroscience, supported by deep contemplative traditions and even quantum research, suggests something radically different. When experts scan the brain during thought, feeling, or decision-making, they see activity lighting up in various regions, all working together, yet no single place where you reside. What emerges from this complex dance isn't a person, it's a process. In fact, the experience of being you is more like music than a musician. It unfolds. It flows, but there's no single note that defines the entire song. This doesn't mean you're not real. It means you're not what you think you are. Most of us walk around believing we're the thinker of our thoughts, the one who's in charge of our reactions, the internal voice calling the shots. But what if that voice is just one layer, a function, not a fact? What if your true nature isn't a character inside your head, but the spacious awareness that sees it all happen? Picture this. Rather than being the captain of the ship, you're actually the vast ocean the ship is sailing on. This shift in perspective changes everything. It's echoed by quantum physics, where the act of observing actually influences the outcome, meaning consciousness plays an active role in shaping reality. Ancient philosophies knew this long before science caught up. In the oldest texts, from India and Greece, sages described awareness as universal, unchanging, and shared, not produced by the body, but present through it. Modern thinkers like Alan Watts and neuroscientists like Anil Seth are beginning to bridge this gap, proposing that what we experience as a self is actually a model created by the brain, useful but not ultimately true. And this matters because everything in your life, your relationships, your fears, your goals, is shaped by what you believe yourself to be. If you think you're a fixed identity, you'll feel stuck. But if you realize you're more like a stream of awareness, your identity becomes fluid, open, and empowered. This is why the next sections of this journey are so important. We'll dive into the hidden voice inside your mind that's narrating your every move, where it comes from, how it shapes your life, and how you can shift from being trapped in its story to simply observing it. Then we'll go deeper into what awareness actually is, the silent, still presence that's always been with you. By the end of this video, you won't just learn new ideas, you'll start to see from a new place, one that isn't confined by your thoughts, emotions, or past. So don't click away. What's coming next will help you understand not just how your mind works, but how your awareness can change everything. Here's the twist most people never see coming. The biggest obstacle to experiencing your true nature isn't your job, your stress, or your past. It's that persistent inner voice you think is you. You know the one, the voice that explains, judges, justifies, criticizes, motivates, plans, overthinks, and rewrites every moment of your life like it's editing a personal documentary on repeat. But here's the shocking part. That voice isn't the real you. It's just a function, a mental narrator your brain developed over time to help you make sense of your world. And while it's great at stringing events into a story, it often confuses meaning with truth, patterns with reality, and opinion with fact. What you believe is your deep identity is often just a stream of automatic commentary shaped by childhood experiences, cultural messages, personal beliefs, and emotional habits. This narrator is clever. It uses your own language, mimics your tone, even speaks in the style of your inner wise self. But underneath the surface, it's just software running old code. Think about it. Has your mind ever talked you out of something exciting because it might go wrong? Or talked you into feeling worthless because of a single mistake? That wasn't awareness. That was a mental script trying to protect you, even when there's no threat. And it doesn't just speak in words. It shows up as tension in your chest, that sinking feeling in your stomach, or a wave of emotion that seems to come out of nowhere. That's how deeply this mental voice embeds itself into your nervous system. But here's the breakthrough. The moment you realize this narrator is just a storyteller, not your soul, you open a door to something much bigger. Suddenly, your thoughts don't have to be believed. Your emotions don't have to define you. You don't have to keep reacting to every opinion this narrator offers. You can step back and see it as it is. A useful tool when needed, but not the master of your life. This internal voice was shaped by your environment, your family, your culture, even your religious or spiritual upbringing, all feeding lines into the script. But just because the voice is familiar doesn't mean it's true. Just because it sounds wise doesn't mean it sees clearly. And here's where it gets tricky. It can even pretend to be presence. It can say things like, just be here now, or let go, while still keeping you trapped in thought. It doesn't want to lose control, but you don't need to fight it. You just need to see it for what it is. The power comes from noticing, not reacting, from observing, not analyzing. The more you watch this voice without trying to fix it, the more you realize there's something deeper, the quiet, steady awareness that notices it all without effort. That presence is who you really are, and it was there long before the narrator appeared. In the next part of our journey, we're going to explore that still presence in detail, what it is, how to access it directly, and why it holds the key to inner freedom that no external success could ever match. If you've ever felt like your mind was running the show without your permission, you're about to discover the power that changes everything, not by force, but by clarity. What if the deepest, most powerful part of you is not what you think, but what silently watches you think? Beneath all the mental chatter, below the constant noise of planning, judging, remembering, and imagining, there is a quiet presence, still, steady, and untouched. This isn't a theory or a belief. It's something you can experience directly. And once you do, everything begins to shift. Let's uncover what might be the most overlooked secret of your inner world. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not even the voice narrating your day. You are the awareness that notices it all. That awareness is silent, but not empty. It's full of presence. It's like standing in a quiet forest at sunrise, stillness so deep, it feels alive. This quiet awareness doesn't argue, it doesn't explain, and it doesn't try to control. It simply sees. It notices the ups and downs of your mind, the way the sky hosts every kind of weather. And no matter what storms pass through, stress, confusion, doubt, that presence remains unchanged. The wild part? This awareness is the same in every person. It's not personal to you. It's not something your brain invented. Neuroscientists describe it as a base layer of consciousness that isn't located in any single brain region. It's more like a field that your mind tunes into. Ancient wisdom knew this long ago. From Zen masters to indigenous elders to quantum theorists, they all speak of a vast intelligence beyond thought, a knowing that just is. That means the calm you've been searching for isn't something you need to create. It's already here, right now. The only reason you don't feel it is because you've been distracted by the noise on top of it. Imagine listening to a symphony and realizing the silence between the notes is what gives the music its depth. That's the kind of presence we're talking about. And here's the most surprising part. This awareness is not passive. It holds the spark of all creativity. It's the source of insight, intuition, and love. It's where new ideas come from. It's where peace lives. You don't have to fight to get there. You just have to stop mistaking your thoughts for truth. And when you do, a new relationship with yourself begins. Instead of reacting to every thought and feeling, you become the one who watches with clarity, with kindness, with no need to fix or change. This changes how you respond to stress. It changes how you experience success. It even changes how you view aging, relationships, and time itself. You stop trying to be someone and start realizing you've always been something far greater. You've always been the one who sees. This is why practices like meditation, stillness, and mindfulness exist, not to add more ideas, but to strip away everything that hides this truth. And the best part? You don't need years of training to access this. You just need a moment of pause. Right now, as you're listening, take a breath and notice the part of you that's aware of this moment. That's it. That's the doorway. When you rest there, even for a few seconds, you touch something timeless. And with practice, this awareness becomes your home base. That's what we'll explore in the next section. How to live from this presence and not just visit it. We'll look at practical ways to return to awareness during everyday life. Walking, talking, working, even when things get messy. Because the goal isn't to escape your life, it's to live it fully from a place of deep presence. And if this has opened something in you, a spark, a shift, a realization, don't keep it to yourself. Tap the like button to let this message reach others. Subscribe so you don't miss the next parts of this journey. And share your thoughts in the comments, not just for you, but because your insight might help someone else connect with who they really are. This is more than content. It's a path back to your true self. And you're right on time. Here's the truth most people don't want to talk about. The reason you feel stuck, overwhelmed, and disconnected isn't because life is too hard or you're not good enough. It's because you've been trained to believe that your thoughts are the truth and your emotions are your identity. You've been taught to react, to analyze, to fix, to chase. Every time something goes wrong, your mind kicks into high gear trying to solve it, replaying the past, predicting the worst, creating endless loops of what-ifs and should-haves. And maybe you've tried meditation or mindfulness, but it still feels like the chaos inside your head is winning. Why? Because no one ever told you the real shift isn't about controlling your thoughts. It's about changing your relationship to them. The people who've truly found peace, not the ones pretending, but the ones who radiate it, they've discovered a different way of seeing. They're not playing tug of war with their mind all day. They've stopped trying to win the game and simply stepped out of it. They've learned to observe their thoughts the way you might watch cars passing on a street, present, aware, but not pulled into the traffic. And here's the real secret. Those people didn't get there by chance. They got there by recognizing something profound, that they are not the voice in their head, but the awareness that notices it. Once that clicks, everything begins to change. Suddenly, the angry thought doesn't define you. The fear doesn't control you. The self-doubt loses its grip. You stop being the character in the story and become the one holding the book. This is the moment where deep transformation begins. But most of us miss it because we're too busy trying to fix ourselves instead of seeing clearly. We think healing means changing how we feel. But real healing begins when we stop running from what we feel and start seeing it through the eyes of presence. The most powerful teachers in the world, from ancient philosophers to modern neuroscientists, agree on this one point. Direct experience, not thinking, leads to lasting change. Trying to think your way into peace is like trying to taste food by reading the recipe. You need to experience what it feels like to be the witness, not the thinker. And yes, your mind will resist. It will tell you this is too simple, too vague, too soft. That's because the mind has built its entire identity on being in control. Letting go feels like a threat. But the irony is, the moment you stop fighting for control, you begin to feel free. And that's what those who've walked this path have discovered. They're not special. They just saw through the illusion. They realized that trying to fix every thought and feeling is like trying to rearrange clouds. The sky doesn't need to control the weather. It simply holds it all. You are that sky. And this isn't just philosophy. It's something you can feel right now. Pause. Take a breath. Can you notice the space behind the thought? That quiet presence watching. Without judgment? That's you. That's the real you. The people who live from this place don't need to prove themselves. They don't get trapped by every wave of emotion. They move through life with clarity, not perfection. Their secret is not what they know. It's where they live from. And in the next part of this journey, we're going to reveal exactly how to access that space anytime you need it, especially when life gets messy. We'll talk about how to practice it in real moments, not on a mountain, not in a retreat, but right where you are. Because real change doesn't happen later. It happens now. And if this resonates with you, let this message ripple further. Tap the like button, subscribe to stay connected, and share your insights in the comments below. Your words might be the mirror. Someone else needs to finally see their own awareness. This isn't about escaping life. It's about meeting life fully, from the place where peace is no longer something you chase, but something you live. So now that we've uncovered the truth behind your inner voice and the power of pure awareness, it's time to answer the question that matters most. How do you actually live this? How do you move from understanding to direct experience? The good news is, the practices that lead to this shift aren't complex, mystical, or reserved for people who live in caves or temples. They're simple, grounded, and surprisingly practical. And the best part? You can begin today, right where you are, without needing to change your life, just your relationship with it. Let's start with the foundation. Attention. One of the most powerful ways to access awareness is by returning your attention to the present moment through your body. Not by thinking about the moment, but by sensing it. Your breath is the easiest entry point. Take a breath right now, slowly, gently. Feel the air moving in. Feel it moving out. Don't try to change it. Just feel it. What you're doing is shifting from thinking into sensing. This one move, from mind to body, can begin to dissolve the grip of overthinking. When you rest your attention on the body, the breath, the soles of your feet, the sensation of your hands, you start to anchor awareness in what's real, not what's imagined. This is not a mental trick. This is how awareness starts to lead instead of thought. The next step is recognizing the voice in your head without merging with it. Throughout your day, pause and ask yourself this. Who is hearing these thoughts? Who is noticing this emotion? That simple question can create space, and space is where freedom begins. You start to see that the voice might say, "I'm not good enough," but that doesn't mean you have to agree. The more you practice this inner noticing, the more you realize thoughts are like clouds, always moving, always changing, and never defining the sky they pass through. This perspective alone has transformed the lives of countless people, artists, athletes, leaders, healers, who have learned to act from clarity rather than mental noise. Another key practice is to slow down moments that feel automatic. When you brush your teeth, walk to the kitchen, drink water, or open a door, these are moments we normally skip over. But what if you brought full attention to them? This is where ancient traditions meet modern neuroscience. Research shows that when we engage in small actions with full attention, our nervous system relaxes, the mind quiets. We move from reaction to response. And over time, this becomes your new default. In Buddhist teaching, there's a concept called the four postures: walking, standing, sitting, and lying down. These cover every position your body can take during the day. What they point to is this: every moment is a chance to return to awareness. You don't need to sit in silence for hours. You just need to remember, I'm here, I'm aware, and bring your presence to whatever you're doing, not in a forced way, but with gentle curiosity. Another powerful tool is the practice of labeling. When a strong emotion or thought shows up, silently name it. Ah, that's fear. Or, that's the need to control. This doesn't mean you suppress it. You simply recognize it as a pattern, not as who you are. This builds emotional intelligence and inner strength, because you stop being pulled by every inner impulse and start becoming the observer of your inner world. Over time, this witnessing becomes natural, but at first, it takes reminders. So, create tiny rituals. One breath before opening your laptop, a pause before replying to a message, a gentle scan of your body before falling asleep. These practices are not about escaping reality. They're about fully entering it with clarity. And what you'll notice is that the more you stay rooted in awareness, the less reactive and more creative you become. Life feels less like something happening to you and more like something you're actively part of. You become responsive instead of rushed, calm instead of chaotic, and deeply connected to what matters. People who live from this space report more peace, more focus, and a deeper sense of joy, not because their lives are perfect, but because their attention has shifted from noise to presence. This is what the great teachers discovered. It's what spiritual leaders, high-level performers, and deeply peaceful individuals have in common. They've learned to live from the still point within, and it's available to you right now. In the next and final part of this journey, we'll explore the deeper mystery of what happens when the observer and the observed dissolve into one, and how this unlocks a level of peace that no thought can ever deliver. If this message has given you something meaningful, let it ripple outward, like the still lake we've been talking about. Tap the like button to support the channel, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next, and share one moment today where you touched that presence. It might just light the way for someone else too. Now that you've come this far, here's what matters most. You don't need to be perfect, enlightened, or even consistently calm to begin living from awareness. You just need to be willing to return again and again to the still place within you that already knows how to hold it all. And here's the truth most people don't talk about. Even when you understand everything we've explored so far, even when you've tasted moments of clarity or presence, there will still be days when it's hard. Days when your mind feels louder than ever. When life feels heavy, emotions unpredictable, and your old habits pull you right back into reaction. That's okay. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. The most peaceful people you know, the ones who seem centered and strong, they didn't get there by always feeling perfect. They got there by choosing awareness, especially when things felt messy. The real shift doesn't happen when everything is going well. It happens in the middle of the chaos, when you pause for just one breath, remember what's real, and choose presence anyway. That's where transformation begins, not through force, but through consistency. And yes, in the beginning, it may feel awkward. Your mind will tell you it's not working, that you're not doing it right, that this kind of practice is for other people, not you. But here's what's really happening. Your old identity is being challenged, and it will resist. That's natural. Just like training a muscle at the gym, there's discomfort before strength. But the more you show up, even for just a few minutes a day, something begins to shift. That small moment when you observe instead of react, That's growth. That pause before judgment, that's awareness unfolding. That choice to feel your breath instead of follow a worry, that's transformation. And over time, these moments add up. They build resilience. They deepen your presence. They bring clarity to your choices. This isn't about escaping your mind. It's about learning how to live with it from a different place. And if you're wondering how to stay committed, here are some powerful tips. First, simplify. Don't try to turn this into another overwhelming routine. Start with one anchor, maybe one breath before a conversation, or 5 mindful steps as you walk to the kitchen. Let it be easy. Second, track your wins. Notice how even one small shift, one less argument, one calmer reaction, one more patient moment can ripple through your day. Celebrate that. Awareness grows when it's acknowledged. Third, support matters. You don't have to walk this path alone. Share this video with someone you care about. Invite them to practice with you. Talk about it. Reflect together. This is how small changes become lasting ones, when we remind each other of what really matters. And most importantly, be kind to yourself. You will forget. You will fall back into old patterns. That's not failure. That's part of the process. What matters is returning, again and again. Awareness is always available. It doesn't judge you for getting lost. It simply welcomes you back every time you remember. Just like the sky welcomes back the sun after a storm. This is what spiritual masters have always taught. Not how to escape being human, but how to be fully human with awareness. And when you live from that place, you not only change your own experience, you influence others just by how you show up. You become a calm presence in a chaotic world. You become a reminder to others that peace is possible. And over time, your life becomes a living expression of this truth. So if this message has spoken to something inside you, don't let it end here. Save this video and return to it when you need to reset. Share it with someone who needs this. Let this be the beginning of a new chapter, not one of more doing, but of deeper being. And in the comments below, write just one thing, a simple commitment to yourself. It could be a phrase like, "I choose awareness," or one breath at a time. Let your words be an anchor. When others see it, they'll be reminded too. We rise together when we remember together. You are not here by accident. You're part of something larger waking up. And the more you return to awareness, the more life meets you there. This is the journey. Not to become someone new, but to return to who you've always been, the quiet presence beneath it all. And the time to begin is now. If you've made it here, take a breath, because what you've just experienced isn't just a video. It's a doorway into a new way of being, a way of living that thousands of people around the world are now choosing every single day. Let's bring it all together, not just to reflect, but to remember. To remember the power that's always been inside you, not as something to chase, but something to live from. Everything we've explored points to one truth. You are not. Your thoughts, not your emotions, not the stories in your head. You are the awareness behind it all. And while that sounds profound, the practice to live it is surprisingly simple. So let's break down the most effective habits that people who experience deep transformation actually use. Not once, not occasionally, but consistently. First, they begin small. They don't try to force hours of silence or chase some perfect state. Instead, they start by pausing. Just one breath before they speak. One moment of noticing before they respond. These micro pauses become powerful anchors. Second, they practice being the witness. When a strong emotion rises, anger, fear, doubt, they don't suppress it or get lost in it. They name it gently, even silently. There's frustration, there's worry. This one act, naming without judgment, creates a space between you and the emotion. In that space, freedom lives. Third, they return to the body, not just in meditation, but throughout the day. They feel their feet on the ground. They notice the warmth of water on their hands. They sense their breath rising and falling. This reconnects awareness to the present moment, again and again, until it becomes second nature. Fourth, they stop arguing with the mind. They don't try to silence it by force. Instead, they shift their attention. Like turning the dial on a radio, they gently bring awareness back to what is here: the breath, the sounds around them, the feeling of simply being. Over time, the mind softens. It no longer dominates. It becomes background instead of center. Stage. Fifth, they surround themselves with reminders. A phrase written on a mirror. A gentle tone on their phone that signals presence. A friend or partner who walks this path with them. This isn't about pressure. It's about resonance. We remember better together. And sixth, perhaps most importantly, they forgive themselves. When they forget, they don't turn practice into another thing to succeed or fail at. They know that forgetting is human, and remembering again and again is the real practice. These are not hacks. These are not tricks. These are the quiet habits that change lives. Not overnight, but gradually, gently, deeply. The people who feel most aligned, most clear, most grounded, they're not living from a fantasy. They're just practicing presence in the real world, through the traffic, through the meetings, through the tears and the laughter. And you can too. You already have everything you need: your breath, your body, your awareness. That's the entire toolkit. From this space, your reactions soften, your clarity grows, your compassion deepens. You begin to move from a deeper intelligence, not reactive, but responsive, not rushed, but rooted. And that energy begins to ripple into your family, your work, your choices, your future. If this message has landed in your heart, let's not keep it a quiet whisper. Help amplify it. Tap the like button if something here resonated. Subscribe to the channel so we can continue this journey together. And here's something powerful. Leave a comment below with one word or phrase that captures your intention. It could be clarity, stillness, I remember, or anything that feels true. When you share your words, they become a spark for others. Someone else might read your comment and feel a door open in them too. If you felt even one moment of peace while listening, one moment of recognition, share this video with someone you care about, not to teach them, but to walk alongside them. This isn't about being led. It's about walking together, because we all forget and we all remember. And in that shared rhythm of remembering, we grow. You've heard the insights. You've felt the presence. Now live it. Begin where you are. One breath, one step, one return at a time. And watch how even the smallest shift in attention changes everything. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are already exactly where you need to be. Let this be the moment you chose to live from awareness. Not someday, not when life slows down, but now. And let this message ripple out far beyond this screen, into your voice, your actions, and your being. You are the reminder. You are the change. You are the presence that transforms. And you are never walking alone.